Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I'm your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a brand new guest. I'm super excited to kind of dig into our topic today. He's the founder of Behold Retreats, Jonathan DePotter. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Kirby. It's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you for taking an interest in what we're doing.
Absolutely. Obviously, in the interest of transparency, you reached out to me, and I always really appreciate that. It's super flattering. So I wanted to kind of jump right in about sort of what you're working on. So what project are you working on right now that has you totally fired up? That had you reach out to me to talk to me, and why are you excited about it?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago now, I had my first experience with plant medicine, a powerful psychedelic called ayahuasca in Peru. And in the lead up to that experience, I did not believe in the positive potential of these experiences. So I was actually an atheist leading up to my first experience. And I had my mind made up about most things in life. And so since then, it's been such a humbling and rewarding journey to connect with my own spirituality, to be receiving powerful insights and messages from divine guidance, which is available through this work, and ultimately improvements to the quality of everyday experience. And so, no doubt your listeners will be aware that there's a sort of psychedelic renaissance that we're experiencing at the moment. There's a lot of exciting science out there. But for me personally, there's a lot more people traveling for these powerful experiences, Costa Rica, Mexico, Peru. And we're really fired up about guiding people on transformational journeys in places where these powerful medicines are legal. That's really what motivates us.
That's super interesting. I have a really good friend, Sam Kabert, who has kind of gone down the journey, and he talks about ayahuasca. And so, I've seen that topic, right, of plant medicine and psychedelics gaining momentum. I don't consider myself an expert, which is one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about it. But I feel like it's gaining momentum in the business and entrepreneurial world. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think those are often people who are very driven and very performance oriented. And so, some of the narrative in relation to plant medicine and psychedelics certainly revolves around improvements to cognition, to neuroplasticity, to mood and behavior, life satisfaction, sense of purpose and belonging. And so when we talk about people, to a great extent, I think the entrepreneurial path is a spiritual quest in many senses. It certainly shapes the self and tends to have great power to emerge the character traits that we might benefit from working on, as does all good spiritual work. And so I think for a lot of people, there's Forbes recently published an article that shared that 72% of entrepreneurs are affected by mental health challenges. And so there's a sort of a link that's being shown between creativity and entrepreneurship, which is no big surprise, but there's also a link between creativity and mental health challenges. And so there's great opportunity, I think, for plant medicine to help us along the path of harmonizing between our conscious and subconscious minds. And that's a large part of why this is getting a lot of attention.
So what was your how did you get introduced to the journey?
Yeah, so I was in the corporate consulting world. I was 5 years in Hong Kong working for consulting mega giant Accenture, if you're familiar. And I just remember waking up one morning and looking in the mirror and saying, there's got to be more to life. I can go across the border and land another Chinese client, another $10 million deal, but it feels empty. There's got to be more. Yeah. And so the company assured me that I was well placed for the next promotion, but I decided to take a year off instead. And so as part of that sabbatical year, found my way to a retreat in Peru with two close friends of mine. And it just fundamentally has set me on a different path that is more connected to myself and helped me understand myself in essence and everything. I think one of the mistakes that we're making in the modern Western world is that we're treating success as primary, success in the outside world, and that we hope happiness will follow. Whereas if we start with the inner work and come to know ourselves better, we've all got incredible, unique gifts and talents and strengths, and we can bring those out into the world. And so as we do that inner work, then the outer success and happiness, or the success and happiness follows as a result naturally of that inner work that we do for ourselves.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. That's actually something I think, and I've read this. I don't want to attribute it to myself, but I don't remember where I read it. I think it was from Neil Pasricha in his book, Happiness Equation, I think it's called. But he said that we've got a formula wrong. We think that if we work hard and we have success, that we will be happy. And it's really, if you're happy and you work hard, you're more likely to succeed. It's like we just need to flip that, if that makes sense.
100%. And it's funny that you anchored on that, because we've actually just finished a nationwide survey, 2,000 respondents, and people know what a good person is made up of. It's kind, it's giving, it's empathetic. And then when we ask people what they want success. 39% of them want success. And the next most popular choice was happiness, 21%. So people want success twice as much, by the numbers, twice as much as they want happiness. And it's the other way around. It's inside first, and the outside will follow. As we've been told for millennia, we just can't seem to wrap our minds around it.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think sometimes the culture, it feels like the culture tells us a different story too, right? Like, and that's definitely part of it. So I'm curious, I like to ask this of a lot of people, especially those who I'm just getting to know. What are some things that inspire you?
Stories and people. I think everyone has a unique story, and genuinely speaking, so much to add to the world. And part of actually going to relate again to the survey that we've just taken. 46% of people, this is a little bit of egomania, but we can frame it in a positive sense as well. 46% of people believe that they're the best person they know, which to me was like, I wouldn't have even ever thought to ask the question, because it's like, what a strange question. But people believe in themselves, and I think that's a uniquely American trait to some extent. And I think it lends itself to some dysfunction, but it also speaks to some of the incredible beauty and innovation and positivity that is undeniable, that is inherent to American pioneering culture. And I'm not to say that everything's perfect, but when I saw that, I was just like, wow. And if you follow that through to its natural conclusion and take the time and the energy to really get to know people, I think that's inspiring, to hear those stories of like, okay, you think you're the best person you know. Let's dig a little deeper. Tell me more.
Yeah. That is the most amazing stat I've heard in weeks. Cause I'm just like, man, if 46% of people think that they are the best person they know, we need to search out some better friends, right? And I mean that, like, people that lift us up, people that inspire us. That's mind blowing to me. So that's super interesting. So, just sort of final thing that I'm curious from your experience, whether it be your new journey or through the consulting field, what's something that you recommend people start doing today to make their life or business, like life, business, whatever, whether it's happy or success, what's something that you recommend people do to make their life better?
Find 20 minutes every day to try to meditate. Sit with yourself and observe your own thoughts. The monkey mind is so powerful. We have between 12 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Almost all of them are about ourselves, and 85% of them, according to the National Science Foundation, are negative. Yeah. So we're having the same counterproductive thoughts that are negative about ourselves. It's toxic. And so if we can just find 20 minutes, and Ray Dalio is super strong on this one as well, just find 20 minutes and just observe the monkey mind. And it sucks. When you start, it sucks. But just keep at it and see what the monkey mind has to say. And the moment that you realize that you're not that monkey mind is the moment of liberation from the confines of the ego, which is game changer.
It really is. I actually love that. I've never had anybody jump right to there, and I think it makes a ton of sense. I always say that it's a counterintuitive piece of advice, but it actually, taking the time to meditate makes you more productive. And I think people struggle with that because it takes time away from doing productive tasks. But that idea of getting your brain to function at a higher level is really powerful. And that makes a ton of sense. So
100%.
where can people find you? Where can they learn more?
Yeah, Behold Retreats, behold-retreats.com. Like I said, we put a lot of time and energy into helping people have really transformational plant medicine experiences. These, don't take this lightly. I would encourage anyone thinking about this to do their homework, think deeply, trust their intuition, their own internal guidance system, and if it feels right, then let's have a chat and we can see whether good things may emerge. But again, I would just reemphasize anyone who might be listening, take this seriously. This work is no joke.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much, for reaching out and taking the time. This was really interesting. I really appreciate it. So thanks so much. Okay.
You bet. Thank you, Kirby.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.